I'm Nick Bizik, and I'm the Vice President of Talent Management and Learning here at ABS. First of all, I want to thank you for your participation in our ABS assessment that you have recently completed relative to your nomination in the Management Excellence, or what I call the MX program. Receiving your results back is not the end of a story. Rather, it's the beginning of a development journey whereby I hope you can take the next steps in your professional growth. My goal today is to get you excited about the ways that you can use this information to identify growth opportunities and turn that into a concrete action plan for your continued development. I am joined today by Dr. Cheryl Frankeny, the Principal Consultant at Management and Personnel Systems, or MPS. MPS is the business psychology firm that partners with ABS in administering these assessments. Cheryl, could you tell the participants more about the development report and resource guide that they have received?
Sure. First, you as a participant have received a development report that gives you feedback on your performance on the leadership assessment. There were 3 assessments that you took, and your results on each are explained in the development report. We encourage you to read the entire development report and not just scan over it. Carefully reading through the development report should answer most of your questions about how you did on the assessments. However, to gain even more insight into interpreting your results, you should also read the Leadership Development Resource Guide. This guide is intended to give you a deeper dive into the meaning of your results and how this knowledge can help you to create a leadership growth plan. As you look through the development report, you'll see your analytical critical thinking results. You were actually given 2 measures of analytical thinking, the CCAT and the UCAT. These 2 tests are comparable, and your results are likely to be similar on both. The big difference is that the UCAT does not require fluency in English in order to do well, and the UCAT, unlike the CCAT, has no verbal scale. We know that ABS is a global company and that participants live in countries all over the world. Comparing your CCAT and UCAT results will help you to see if you're strong in English and verbal reasoning, or whether there are opportunities for you to grow in this area. Your results on the analytical thinking measures are placed on charts that will allow you to compare yourself to both middle managers and top managers. Depending on your aspirations, you'll be able to see if you need to develop your analytical critical thinking skills and which specific areas need the most attention: math and logic, spatial and abstract reasoning, or verbal reasoning. The other significant area of the development report is the work style results. This section gives you feedback on how you scored on 12 key work styles, including 5 that have been identified as critical for successful leadership at ABS: achievement, competitiveness, managerial leadership, motivation, and self-confidence. There's a chart showing how you scored compared to other test takers. There are also definitions for each of the traits, and an individual interpretation is provided as to where you show up in relation to each trait. Low or high scores are not necessarily good or bad. Instead, they should give you insight into your particular style of working. Think about these traits in relationship to your role at ABS. How has your work style helped or hindered you as a leader? Exploring your results on each trait will give you ideas as to how you can develop yourself as a leader.
Cheryl, I'm glad you mentioned the word leader. This assessment has been done in conjunction with a nomination to a management development program we have launched called Management Excellence, or MX, as I've mentioned. Everyone taking this assessment is a frontline leader at ABS. And while sometimes the words manager and leader can be interchanged in certain instances, in this case, I want to reconfirm that you are all managerial leaders. That means that you have management duties, but ABS expects you to be strong leaders as well, meaning that not only are you good at core management skills like delegation and time management, but you develop your leadership skills so that the people working for you grow and thrive under your tutelage. So, Cheryl, what would you say are the key takeaways from this report and resource guide?
Yeah, the biggest message we want you to take away from this process is that you can continue to improve yourself as a managerial leader. These assessments are not meant to categorize you or to inform you that you are or are not managerial leadership material. This is where the Leadership Resource Guide comes into play. There is a section in the resource guide on how to discuss your results with your line manager or someone you consider to be a mentor, such as an HR professional or a talent specialist like Nick. The choice of whether to share your results and with whom is up to you. However, you're likely to get much more out of the process by going over your results with a trusted individual at ABS. They're likely to see things that you may have missed, or they may have ideas for your growth that you haven't considered. The resource guide also has a section for you to write down the strengths and growth opportunities that the development report helped you to discover. Also, there's a place to write out an action plan for increasing your skills and abilities as a leader. You can then use this action plan to create Oracle Fusion development goals in the ABS HRIS system to guide and track your progress. Finally, there are recommended courses and books listed at the end of the resource guide. You can use these to further your development in specific areas. The courses are offered on LinkedIn Learning, which is a learning management system to which all ABS employees have access. The recommended books are an inexpensive way to grow your leadership skills, and the audiobooks can be listened to anytime and anywhere. With just a little investment of your time, you'll quickly start to see your leadership skills expand and grow.
So, Cheryl, what do you recommend that participants do next?
Yeah, first and foremost, stay open to the feedback being offered to you by the development report and by your manager. Being defensive or making excuses for your performance on the assessments is a good way to get very little out of the process. On the other hand, listening and being receptive to suggestions can open new avenues of growth and development for you. Next, make sure to read your development report and resource guide carefully. Quickly scanning through them will give you some information, but you'll miss out on a lot. Take the time to fill out the strength and growth opportunities sections of the Leadership Resource Guide and create an action plan that you can discuss with your manager. Then take on the responsibility of setting up a feedback session with your manager or internal stakeholder at ABS. No one's going to do this for you, and I think you'll find that it's an important step in your development. Finally, use the resources listed at the end of the resource guide. The information will help you to grow your abilities more quickly than simply learning by trial and error.
That's great advice, Cheryl. This assessment is your first step as part of the MX program, where we will focus on managerial leadership enrichment, meaning improving your skills over time. I hope you utilize this assessment and look at it for what it is. It's a great development tool for the future. Thank you and good luck.